The deadline in this sector for voluntary presentation at the experimental center is 6 o'clock.
You're supposed to be an artist. Use your imagination.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm all out.
What's happening, everybody? Shelton J. Think about it, radio. We got another day, another dollar. And if you feel real good and life has been real good to you, maybe you made $2 straight from the streets. I got my man Vincent Booker in the house with me tonight. Mr. Whiting had something come up, so he cannot be on. But we wish you well, my brother. We wish you well. Mr. Booker, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself, man? I really can't complain.
Man, no sense of complaining. No sense of doing it. No sense of doing it at all. Because whatever it is, it's going to be. Right?
Right.
So, you see the situation in front of you. You fix what you can fix. You pray about it. You put your best foot forward. And you put the action plan in place. And you keep on going. Because complaining, all they're going to do is just make the situation just sit there. Or even get a little worse.
You right, bro. I'm gonna say it like you always say. You gotta keep on pushing, no?
Yes, sir. All day, every day. Man, thank you guys so much. All the fans, man. Thank you guys, man. All the communication, all the conversations that we're having. Oh, man, I'm just grateful, man. I mean, I know I would want to put probably a bigger word on it or something a little more shinier, but just simply put, man, I'm just grateful, Mr. Booker. Grateful for the fans, man. Think about it, radio.
Right?
Yes,
right.
Sir. Yes, sir. So, how you been?
I've been good, man. It's been, every day is a challenge, but, like you said, bro, you got to keep on pushing. But also, man, I would want to say, too, man, that,
yes,
I'm grateful too, man, and I'm thankful, man, to have brothers like yourself and Brandon, man, that's doing what y'all doing, because, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I said, me and Brandon, man, we go so far back, bro.
Yeah,
like we go real far back. And even since I've been knowing you, man, you a good brother, man. You're a stand up brother. You know what I mean?
My brother.
I got mad love and respect for you. But it's individuals like y'all, you know what I mean? That keeps me motivated because it gives you something to strive toward when you see brothers out here and they actually trying to make a difference. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that, man. I'm thankful to be a part of the show as well.
Well, I'm thank you for your time and your energy toward the show and the passion that you share toward getting solutions and getting some things done and some things solved. Now, without further ado, I titled this particular one "Confusion" and how it makes people feel combative and and just really just in a negative state of mind, right? Because a lot of people that I have conversations with and see they're confused, man. I mean, just about one thing or the other. It doesn't necessarily have to be one subject. But just they're confused about a lot of things. And it's like the information that they thought they knew, once they find something to like dispute that information, then here comes the aggravation or anger or, you know what I'm saying, confusion.
Right.
So
right.
I want to talk about that a little bit tonight, man, about how can we, I guess, resolve some of the confusion that takes place, and then also what are some of the ways we can disseminate information, even if it is contradictory to what you may have been grown to believe or know or understand. How can we at least ease the information in there to where it's at least received?
Yep. Well, first of all, I would say, this is interesting too, because it goes to what you just said. It starts with what you just said. It's what people are taught, how they raised, right? If you raised in a society full of like fairy tales, I mean, this is the type of outcome you're going to get. Like everything is like a misbelief, it's nothing really real, and that projects an attitude, it projects a mentality, and that's what people are going to gravitate toward. Their beliefs. The beliefs is one of the most. It's one of the most controversial as far as religion. It's so controversial with religion because, I mean, we talk about it from time to time.
Yes, sir.
You know, people dispute about which religion is correct. You know, this one is like this and the other one is like this. But when you just really give deeper thought to it, it's like, if you take religion from society, you go back into darkness. You know what I mean? You go back into total darkness. So it's just with the concept of a higher power alone that keeps people in order. You know what I mean?
Right. This is true.
It's going to become confrontational because, especially when you deal with the belief.
Right.
And, it's going to become confrontational. And it can also become physical because it will get physical when it stops being mental. You know what I mean?
This is
when, for wise people and for conscious people, you know when to read the signs. Like if you're engaging in a conversation with somebody and all of a sudden you start to sense some hostility. Well, you know at that point it's already getting out of control. You know what I mean? Because you already watching. You know what comes with it. Exactly.
Right. So there's so it went from the confusion to now the combative, right?
Right.
Because now we're arguing information, even because it differs, you know, from what I believe, from what I know, from what I understand from the life that I live, because you never know what another person's journey is, right? You just see their destination right now. You see where they are right now in the present. You weren't privy to know what was happening in the past. And so their reaction may be based upon they're just so solid in whatever that is because of what they had to go through to even believe that. Right.
Right.
So then here comes the combative because, again, you don't know what I went through. You don't know. And so and that's where the information starts getting confusing, because if it's written by someone, then that's someone's opinion or idea of what happened or their detail of it, right? Of what happened, right. Their portrayal of it from their point of view, right? But if you and I or whoever, right, if we were not physically there, then how do we know, right? Because we talk about the information and all the different information that disseminated out here, no matter what level it's on, religion, politics, economical, whatever, right? You know only what you have been deposited into, you know, for that particular point of view. So if another person comes in with some, that's some bull crap, that's some this or that's some that, you know, and then they show you something that's written down and then you be like, well, dang, hell. Now, are you mad at the people that were supposed to taught you better or taught you different? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because they only knew so much, whatever it is. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. The confusion part of it is that I think a lot of it is we argue opinions. You know, we argue what we think or what we interpret from whatever that is, you know, and so that's where I think a lot of solutions don't really come into play, because now, as you said earlier, now we fighting, you know, now we got a whole different conversation going on.
Right. You're right. And then, like I say, even in scripture, like dealing with religion, even in scripture, if it tells us that in the end of times that the devil will rule the earth, evil will rule the earth, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we all kind of take those things for granted, and we don't really pay attention to what's being said. So if people are not paying attention to what's being said, because evil is ruling the earth, everywhere around us is death, everywhere, right? So we have to. This is when when you have to deal with the thought. Well, who are the people? Who are the draftsmen behind it? Right? If we witness chaos, we see chaos. We see the bloodshed. Right?
Yeah.
And Scripture tells us in the end, it will rule the world. I mean, the evil will rule the world. It's not a dispute if you look at that and you actually see that. See, it's one thing about the truth. I said all that to say this right here.
Yeah.
The combativeness comes from when the truth steps in, falsehood falls. It has no weight with the truth. Falsehood has no weight with the truth. It holds no barrier. It will never stop it. It's going to always manifest itself.
I can dig it.
It's going to always manifest itself. So in a sense of, you know, the argument as far as some of the debates you have with religion, speaking on the topic of religion,
Yeah.
there is truth in a lot of it. It's a truth. It's truth, but you have to find that truth. And because we're raised in levels, in degrees of our own striving, the way we think at the age of 20, if you're striving in the right cause, you're not going to think that same way when you turn 30.
Exactly.
So it's gonna constantly keep changing, and sometimes the confrontations comes from the level of the people and how they think, or the people that you're talking to. Like, it doesn't really take long to find out about a person because we just a reflection of our mentality. You know, it doesn't take a lot to figure a person out. You know, people like, oh, you think you know me? It's like, I might not know your address or anything like that, but the mentality is the first thing you read. You know what I mean? So
if you're paying attention to that, if you're looking from that, see, that's a lot of times though, we're talking about confusion and stuff like that. Even in getting to relationships and stuff like that, right? People going to them confused because they didn't really get to know, as you just said, the mentality, the person, the individual. They just see sexy and fine. They just see, though cute. You feel me? So when that person acts a certain way or does a certain thing, you're confused by it, right? Because I didn't think you would do that. You know why? Because you didn't know me. You didn't know that I would beat you. You didn't know I would do you dirty. You didn't know I would be drinking all day. You didn't know I wouldn't come home at night. But you just again made acquaintance. And not looking at it from the side again. So here again, in lies the confusion, right? And then the next person you get or try to date or try to deal with, now it's an interrogation. It's all kind of questions.
Right, you're right, bro.
So
you're right, bro.
Then so it just becomes topsy turvy though with it, man. But I would say even in regards of relationships, since I'm speaking about that right now, is know yourself before you even get into anything, right? Because and love yourself. I will say that again. Listeners, listen well. Love yourself, right? Because if you love yourself, then you will not allow yourself to be treated a certain way when you get lined up with someone else, right?
Right.
And, so then it won't be that confusing. That won't be that combat from a relationship perspective, because now you know who you are and you love yourself. And so you 10 toes in who you are. And like, you know what? My spirit, I don't allow that. I don't allow that in my spirit, in my space. And if you're solid in that, then that's cool. A lot of times, man, people let other people define who they are, I guess, and pour into them their beliefs of what they think they ought to be. Right? And then now, again, confused, upset, aggravated, guarded, not really living a comfortable life because you got into something that you weren't ready for.
Right.
Because you didn't know yourself. You were confused about who you are. We growing and learning every day. If we really just paying attention, we're growing and learning every day. Right? So every day is a new day. What you gonna do with it? Right? Every day is a new opportunity, so to learn, to get unconfused, right? To get unaggravated, to learn from one another. But a lot of times though, man, we don't speak to one another. We don't see one another because we locked in who we are. We in our little box, right? So we become combative and we don't really have true conversations because we don't see the value in the people that we see on a regular basis. We don't see the value in them people. Everybody has value. Everyone can add something, So when we do disseminate information and try to have conversations and try to, again, come up with solutions, arguments and drama is the last thing that ought to be, from that thing. Let's just learn something, Again, every day is an opportunity, man. Squeeze everything you can out of another life, man. Out of this life. Out of another day, man. There's people saying all over the world right now, man.
That's real, bro.
Because they don't have another day.
I'm like the brother Brandon White and I always say, man, like, you got to establish yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you have to establish yourself. That's male and female. That's for that man and that woman. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, if relationships, I mean, it's like to have somebody that's not equally yoked with you.